Got it. Let me just do something real quick here. Andor season 1 episode. This is 7, right?
Yes.
The announcement.
The announcement.
Yep. Andor announcement. Okay. Let's hear. Okay. And in a galaxy of capes and lunatics, of gods and monsters, there are those that stand up to the Empire and those who get crushed beneath its feet. This is Andor Season 1, Episode 7, Announcement. And this is Full Stream Ahead. Arrgh. I'm your host, Charlie, the Professor Esser, and with me, as always, is my skinny rich friend and first mate.
It's Mozz.
Welcome, Mozz. The announcement, not the announcement. Announcement. The repercussions of the Eldani heist reach all the way to Coruscant, while Cassian returns home. Our director this week is Benjamin Caron, and our writers, we have got Stephen Schiff, or Stephen Schiff. Not quite sure how to pronounce that, but it's with the PH. He gets the written by credit. Tony Gilroy, of course, gets that good old created by credit. And George Lucas, sitting on his $1 million at Skywalker Ranch, gets based on Star Wars by. You know, I wonder if he still gets money off of these, even after he sold it to Disney. Like, does he still get like a?
Oh, interesting.
Sort of, yeah, I wonder. I
mean, if they have to put his name there, I'm sure he's getting something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he got a big lump sum, and then there's probably like some kind of residual deal that he gets for it, you know. But anyway, so yeah, Cassian got away with his money. The Empire is not happy about this. Not happy at all.
Of course.
And of course, first we get the announcements of the we get the announcements of the, you know, all of the harsh things.
The Empire considers it a slap in the face, almost like somebody took their glove off, slapped you in the face, and said, "I dare you. Let's see what you got." And the Empire's like, "Oh yeah,
yeah,
oh yeah. You want to see what we're capable of? Well, we'll show you."
Exactly, and but I think this is the reaction that what's his name?
Luthen
wanted. And we actually get a scene with Luthen and Mon Mothma, where it is well, actually before then we get a scene. I'm not quite sure who the two people are. It's a blonde-haired lady and a dark-haired lady. Were those people we knew before, or
what are they doing?
They were the ones talking about, you know, what happened to Cassian. We had to find Cassian and kill him because he knows who Luthen is.
Isn't that
I mean, it could be. It could, yeah. I mean, that's what I was trying to figure out.
Luthen's assistant secretary or his handler. I don't know who she is. She acts like his assistant, but sometimes I feel like she's his handler.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting.
I thought she was the one that proposes the idea that they need to eliminate him.
You know, I'm not 100% sure. You know, that's the thing. I am really bad with faces. So when characters come into a scene, I'm not quite sure who they are.
Right, ever. Especially when they do subtle spycraft like they're doing here.
Yeah. Now, back on Coruscant, our mother of the year and her darling son are having breakfast, and you know, she loves to, you know, you're wearing that. What about the Bureau of Weights and Measures makes you think they're looking for an individual? Yeah, and that is to me
it shouldn't be a revelation. It shouldn't be an astute observation by somebody.
Yeah.
That's what she's disappointed in him by. Is like, listen, you're still not getting it. That's
Well,
not how you get ahead here. Not in this environment, not in this climate, not with this empire.
You also get the idea that maybe she's wrong, because
No, but
clearly,
look at him. All his inclinations of I'm a free thinking soul. I am an individual, but like, where has it gotten him? And he's right back there, begging for scraps, begging for help, essentially.
yeah,
So she's just trying to say, okay, these are the things that I've been trying to talk about. You're wearing a brown suit. Everybody there wears gray, right?
yeah.
Why are you going to walk in there with a brown suit? And then you got your car. I got it tailored. Is like, they're not, she has a point.
I can see your point. I think that, I guess you were right. But, the problem is he thinks he's the protagonist of this story.
Everybody should, but at the same time, like, also recognize the set you're on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't try to be doing Shakespeare when you're on a SpongeBob set. Like.
Yeah, I think those two are closer related than you think. But
if that's fair, that's fair.
Well, like I said, what I'll say is I think his mother is trying to grind him down because I think that's how she feels she has some strength and some power in her life.
Either that, or he's got some like jagged edges that she's trying to shave off.
Yeah, well, and that's typical of someone trying to control people. She is trying to control them, and that's how she do it. Because the best way to keep a kid in line is just to make sure they never feel like they're good enough.
No, I mean, perhaps that's one way to look at it, but the other perspective would be she's just pruning. She's trying to prune.
Yeah,
but he's not a tree.
Yeah, he's not a bonsai bush. That's the thing.
I mean, but like, neither is he. Whatever metaphor we were looking at earlier.
There's a lot of ways you can look at it. I can imagine there's a lot of ups and downs and positives and negatives, but I really think that I really think that he is actually in the right place at the right time, because let's face it, he may not be the protagonist, but he is who the camera's following.
Yeah, I think he has trouble operating in society. I don't think he knows how to operate in society, and she's trying to help him learn how society works. And
yeah, I mean,
go.
By all accounts, she's telling him how to operate in society, but by all accounts, he's not doing that bad,
right?
Despite things getting out of hand, as they do. That let's face it, things will get out of hand when you're dealing with things that are set up to get out of hand. And
I'm sure she could make her point a little differently.
Yeah,
that.
Well, and what acidic. It is. Yeah, exactly. It is just this way that she is. That's the thing. I honestly feel if he was doing exactly what she wants, she would take the exact opposite tack. I think she would take, look like everyone else. So why should they pick you if you're just the same as everyone else?
If he was still not doing well, then I guess she'd have to find something, right?
Yeah, or if he ever was successful, I think she'd even tear him down then. It's like, oh well, I guess you want to serve the Galactic Empire.
He'll never be as successful as Uncle Harlow.
Yeah, well, exactly. And Uncle Harlow got him the job, and I like it because honestly, I think this is a place he could excel. It's middling bureaucracy. It may not be what he wants, but you know what? I bet you he's going to be good at fuel purity.
Yes, exactly.
It's like
that's more his station. I guess.
But it's also like when you get down to it, there is this I suppose larger question of what really is what really should he be doing in this world, and what does he really want to do? And honestly, for what it's worth, what he wants to do is he probably would want to be a stormtrooper. He probably would like to work his way up into the internal security apparatus. That's where he sees that's where he could be his best self. And it would not surprise me if that does not come up at some point. That's sort of where he is moving towards. Where
he would be good. He would be good cannon fodder.
Yeah, he might even be more. He might even be more diabolical than you give him credit for. That's actually would be my take on it. That there's
his intentions might be darker than I expect, but his capability to do things about it would probably be still at the level of like a tripping buffoon.
Well, I guess what I would say is that when you have better soldiers, it's much easier to be a better general.
Well, I mean, yeah, but even then, if you're led by emotion and ego and are easily distracted, you will always get taken advantage of.
Yeah, that's a possibility too. But there are people that need someone to be a fall guy too, so
right. He's ripe for being a fall guy.
Yeah.
The fat guy earlier tried to make him his fall guy, and he ended up like, I don't know if he intended to, but that's what was always going to happen.
But you do see a lot of incompetence in the Empire, especially at the higher ranks.
All over the place, yeah.
And it is there is a strong argument for the Peter Principle in fascism. The Peter Principle is that you will rise to your level of your specific level of incompetence. that that no matter what you do, you will always fail up into the next level because people love an underdog. I guess I don't know, but it is an idea that these things do get out of hand very easily and very quickly.
Yeah, either that or they expect that that thing that you did wrong is somehow a lesson that you have now learned, that you're wiser for it.
Exactly. And that goes into when we actually get into our internal security apparatus discussions, because again, we are dealing with this idea that there is within its apparatus a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of backbiting and sectionality. And you do see with our young go-getter this basic statement, like, do you really think the rebels care about our little organizational pods? Do you really think that the rebels care that this is a Navy issue and so that's why we can't do this? And when her rival basically calls her out for saying she violated protocol, you told her she couldn't. And she says, well, I used the general order to access the files, and I want to show you what I found, because I can show you where these things have been repeatedly stolen and repeatedly wound up in the hands of rebels. And it was clear that this is what was going on while no one was paying attention. And that's, if nothing else, that's exactly what Andor, that is what the heist actually emphasized, was no one in the Empire was really trying to control things, was really trying to take care of things.
Right.
And because of that, because no one was really in charge, they thought that they had already won and they just had to keep on expanding and there would never be pushback. That this is why the Empire now has to sort of gets caught flat-footed and now has to find a way to readjust itself to be that more streamlined Imperial force, but at the same time, as Leia says to Moff Tarkin, in A New Hope, it's like the tighter you clutch your fingers, the more star systems will slip through your fingers like grains of sand. You can't hold on to things by holding them tighter. All you're going to do is at most get a better grip on one small part, but you really can't control the whole thing.
Right. I think there's a certain eventuality that is inescapable in bureaucracy, where you will have people in positions of power that will only hire people that will protect their position. And in order to do that, they have to get lied to. And they will only hire people that are willing to lie to them, right? Just like we saw earlier when he tried to tell them, we got to follow up on these guys. Like, look, man, I'm not trying to make no waves. My boss above me need things to look this way, so I want things to look this way, so we're not going to talk about it, right? And then these things that you ignore compound and compound and compound. But it's eventual. It's always going to happen. The bigger the bureaucracy and the longer it exists, the more open it is to these sorts of dynamics to wreak havoc.
Exactly. And the thing is that this has only gotten so far. The Empire has only been around for this long, and already it's starting to fall apart.
Right.
You know,
and that's what's great about the sort of competition between Daedra and her rival. His superiors want him to handle things, and what they mean by handle things, I shouldn't have to hear about your problems.
Exactly.
Right? So if he really was handling it, I wouldn't have had to hear about it. But, whatever game you're playing, I don't really care. I would have sided with you, but now she's proven that you're not doing your job. And that was kind of cool to see that even in that sea of bureaucracy, like sometimes the right thing wins out. Like they ought to be, if from their perspective, this is something they really ought to be following up on.
Yeah. Although to be fair, even still, they're turning that battleship slow.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're really you bring me the evidence, you do this, and that's what he told her. So really she was following the orders and following the chain of command. It's like, get me hard evidence. You have the hard evidence, we can move forward, and we can restructure things, because honestly, he got to his spot by being a good soldier and by getting results, and he understands he needs to get results to show that he is doing his job, and doesn't have Lord Vader show up and say, this may not be the job for you.
I hope you enjoyed breathing.
Yes. As it plays out, it's very interesting. We also have a nice bit with Cassian and the mother character, and I'm blanking on her name right now.
Marva.
Marva, who is very cool, because he gets there, and Perich is a mess. Perich is, and it is really a mess. But he wants to get out. He wants to get his friends out, but goes to his one friend, who his one friend who's going to help him get out, but he's trying to lay low, but then the people throw the rocks, and he tries to stop them, and then
that was an old memory, right?
No, I think that was something that had just happened, because that was something that he was going to get him and his friend to the ship, and that guy just gets shot because wrong place at the wrong time, and that is honestly the hardest part about it. It's just how much of this is just when you got this fascist state, wrong place at the wrong time, you're going to cause these problems, and that is going to lead to more rebellion and more pushing against it,
Everyone has to be Spider-Man right now.
Yeah, well, that's why we even have a
Spider-Man. Uncle Ben right now.
Yeah. We also see him catch up with his girlfriend, who I'm guessing has a new boyfriend, who is not as understanding as her old boyfriend, who got shot in the last episode. She doesn't even mention it. She just I ran into a wall again, because he sees how messed up she is.
No, but didn't
And
she get like questioned?
oh, yeah, that could have been it. But it seems like it was recent. Like,
Oh,
he hasn't been gone. He's been gone a while. So, but then again, maybe they questioned her and kept on questioning her. Maybe they keep on questioning her every day. And she even says it's not safe for you here.
yeah.
And he's like, who's going to tell on me? It's like, it says, first off, everyone blames you for what happened. And, no one, no one trusts you anymore. You have, they blame you for the fact that there's a garrison here. They blame you for the fact that the stormtroopers are just shooting people. That, that what was a system is now destroyed, you know, and that's rough for people,
Mhm.
you know. And
My
but
favorite thing though is
Mhm.
he gets there and wants to get Marva out. And all of a sudden, Marva is like infected by this will to do stuff. She's not just like, oh, just planted on her chair and that's how she's going to spend the rest of her days. She's got like a fire inside of her. And she
Yeah,
used to be a real revolutionary. And then she recognized, she remembered who she was and what made her feel alive. And it's sad because he's there to like save her and get her away from this. And he wants nothing to do with any of this. And he tried his best to stay away. He did all these capers, stole all these things just to build a way to stay away from this whole mess. And these people arguing that he wanted nothing to do with it. And he slowly just gets getting dragged back into it. And he goes, no. I think if I can just make this work, I can still get out. And now even his home, Marva, is like, no, I'm gonna fight these. And it's what a great scene that is.
yeah, it is, and I do believe she goes on to do more in this series. I haven't seen it all yet, but it is, yeah. I mean, this is a really
I'm
great
not
series,
gonna
so
leave
well
with you.
acted.
That
Yeah,
was
well, because that's her point. It's like, where are we going to go? Where are you going to go that's outside of the Empire? And like, all you can do.
where will I get to ply my trade? Where will I get to do what I was born to do? Right? The
Yeah,
fight has come to us, there was always going to be a fight, but it came to us. But by God, I'm here to witness it. She
yeah,
considers herself fortunate in that moment. It's
yeah.
kind of like a just so pure in its spirit of rebellion. It's
She
a
is a
beautiful thing.
daughter of Ferrix, and I appreciate that. We do see that, eventually Cassian does just leave. Cassian does move on with his life, and he's holed up in some fancy hotel room with some lady who wants him to get the fancy the fancy things, picos, yeah,
Pizzos.
pizzos. We need more pizzos. You like them? You like the
Are they like pizzas? Are they like future pizzas?
I think they're. I think it's like I my honest thing is it's probably like a some kind of a nut
Oh,
or grape or it's like some kind of a fruited thing.
dig it.
It might even be a processed thing, like like corn chips.
Yeah.
It's like Pizzo's brand
Yeah.
pop nuts.
We just took the sawdust byproduct of this manufacturing process, throw a little bit of water, fried the thing, and here you go.
That sounds delicious, my friend. Um, but anyway, yeah. So it's interesting, and you see him sort of holding out there. You see he's got his like little cachet hidden in the shower.
Mm.
Um, and I wonder if that's all of his money, or if it's just like a small portion, and he's got other stuff hidden elsewhere.
I'm sure.
Because you see, he takes like 2 or 3 coppers out,
Mm.
because the ones they had were all gold. So I'm guessing these are like, you trade some in, you get your money cleared and laundered, and this is what you got left. But he's got enough left that he feels he's safe.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd keep it all in the one box.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, he's smarter than that.
Yeah, but he keeps enough in there for him. And he goes out, and of course, as he's going out, he's just walking, and all of a sudden, these ne'er-do-wells run out and totally
Ne'er-do-wells,
ne'er-do-wells. Well, people that are offending the Empire, and they're being chased. And as they're being chased, there is he's walking. He's like, what are these people running from?
I love that scene because it's like he's safe. Everything's good. He's gotten away. But then he sees some action on the side of the road. He's like, ooh, he's like, oh, what is happening?
No.
Like a piece of him is like, man, I'm an action guy, like I'm not a sitting even as much as he wants to be the guy that retires and sits down, and he's not. Something in him is like, man,
no. I think he's totally afraid of that.
He could have gotten away the moment he saw some trouble. If he was of that mindset, he'd been like, I gotta get as far away from this situation as possible. I cannot afford to be. But he's just like a curious. Oh, what's this? And he meanders this way. Oh, what's happening? What do I wonder? What these guys are
walking
doing?
to the store. That's what
I know. No. I think I don't know. Him was like subconsciously was like, what is? Oh, wow! He missed it a little bit.
See, I'm reading everything he does is him just like, I don't want any troubles, officer.
Yeah, no. But you wouldn't stand there. You're not a regular citizen. You don't have the right to stand there and go, I'm not doing nothing. You're an ex-con. You're a fugitive. You're someone on the run.
He's got a new identity.
No. If he didn't inherently want a piece of that action, he would have gotten so far away from there as soon as possible.
I mean, I would argue he had a chance to.
Yeah, that's my point.
No, but it's not like he's trying to get into because he doesn't really need to fight back either.
He couldn't help it. He couldn't help it. Like his baser instincts took over, and as much as he wanted to free and he thought about it, it's like something was pulling him, and he just didn't want to make a decision. So he just let this energy like draw him to this situation.
I'll agree to disagree. I mean, because I just don't see him wanting this outcome, because this is a very bad outcome.
Not up here, but here something's pulling him. He knows there's a fight to be fought. His idol, his mom, she's like, I'm picking up the fight. Luthen's, I'm in the fight, right? And he's trying to say, I don't want to join the fight. I don't want to, but inside something's brewing, and it's pulling tentacles out and making him look this way. It's like going, hey buddy, look.
Yeah. I'm just saying he is a wanted felon, and so when you are a wanted felon, you do get nervous because you're wanted, and also you worry about what's happening around you when and then when you get yourself into that situation, because he's just trying to walk, and it doesn't help him that the other people look like him too. Doesn't help that he fits the description. It doesn't help that he doesn't look like a tourist, and that's probably his biggest thing. He needed a nice Hawaiian shirt and some flip flops and a little fizzy drink as he's walking.
He needed distance. That's all he really needed. The moment he saw something goofy, I need to put distance between me and this mess because I cannot be caught up in it by any means.
You know what? He should have sat down right then. He should have sat down.
Would have been much smarter. Let them pass him by. Pretend to read a news, but that would have been smart.
Go look at the ocean like a tourist.
Yeah.
So there are things. So maybe you're right. Maybe there was thing, but also this is so the story can happen.
Yeah. But to me, that rang true. Like if there was some commotion, he would be a looky-loo. Like he'd be like, "Ooh," he would be too close. He wouldn't be able to help himself.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, man, just
I know, and you have the general order, and everything is problematic today.
Like you think I didn't do anything means anything in today's climate after like they just passed this order and like everything is so
but it gives you that real point there. It's like you're in enough trouble. Don't add resisting judgment to your list of felonies. Which is, and again, tells you about how deep this fascism goes. It said I did that. Oh no, you're not allowed to mount a defense. This is what you've been accused of, and this is what the punishment is. And I love when she says, "Oh, this would have only been 6 months yesterday, but 6 years, man.
My God.
That's rough, man. It is a rough game. It is a rough situation.
I'm gonna have some more ramen from that one.
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
This felt like it was like almost like a season finale, like a cliffhanger-y kind of ending. It's one of those things. I'm so glad it's in the middle of the season that we do get to see what happens the next episode.
Yeah, it is very interesting. Exactly what we're working with here, and I'm curious to see where it goes. I'm really hopeful for the rest of the season. And it's going to be cool. Any final thoughts on all this, Mozz?
I just really dig so much about this show. The care they take in the little moments, like when he gets wrapped up in that commotion, or the way the mom is talking to him about like the color of his suit or the length of his collar and the message that sends. Like these little pieces of the story that get time to shine. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, and I agree. All right.
I just want to make sure, is the other like a measuring cup, is that microwave safe?
Which one? The
The plastic one, because I don't fight.
I mean, depending on how long you put it in, I imagine to some degree it would be safe. I would say anything under like 3 minutes, you'd be safe. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. There you
what
go.
happened? There we go.
You cut out for a second.
Okay. So moving right along. So if people liked this show, if people like Andor and they'd like to talk to us about it, they can always write to us at CapesandLunatics@gmail.com. They can call us at 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. By the way, if you do either of those things and you say, I want to mention Andor and my thoughts on Andor, we will absolutely read your thoughts or play your thoughts on the air as long as you don't say something dirty. Likewise, go down into our show notes, click on the Linktree connection. That's linktr.ee/CapesandLunatics. That'll take you to the Capes and Lunatics site where you'll see all of our podcasts, as well as links to our merch and our Patreon and our Cash App if you just want to give us some money. Excuse me. And if people just want to reach out to you and talk to you about anything, how can they find you?
Oh, they can email me at mozzmanzor@gmail.com or find me on Facebook under Mozz Manzor. That's MOZZMANZOOR.
And of course, you can always write to me in that old-fashioned email way, the way our mothers and fathers once did, at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com. And follow me on the Twitter as I live tweet things. Not Stargirl, which has ended, but we had our final episode tonight. But on other things like Willow, for some reason, at Charlie Hesser. That's CharlieEsser. Look for the 2 E's in the middle.
For quality. Bing.
Thank you, Mozz. All right, you scurvy dogs, you've come to the end of another rewarding voyage down the bounding main. Thank you for coming our way.
Hi.
Please join us next week as we once again sail full stream ahead. Arg.
All right.